Hi, welcome to my tutorial today. This is going to be a follow-up to the previous tutorial which showed you how to create this flowing lava material and also how to create a flowing lava inside like a cylinder like this. Okay, so this tutorial today, what we're going to do is right now this lava does not interact. It doesn't hurt the player, there's no fire anywhere. So that's what we're going to do today, is we're going to make this lava actually interact with stuff. Okay? So we need a couple things. We need to create some folders inside our project. First one is actors. This is where the damaged lava will be. The materials, which is where the lava and the fire, the particles for the fire will be. We need particles, which is going to be what spawns around the lava where it hits stuff. So like right here, it's going to do that. And then we need the textures. Now, if you follow the tutorial from yesterday, you will have the lava textures and the lava material. So the only one you would need is Fire Sprite, which is this right here. It's a sprite sheet, so it'll look animated. Now, one thing that you can do to get a free Fire Sprite is go on Google and just type in Fire Sprite, and you'll see all of these different ones. Now, you're going to want to just click on one like this one. Right click, save image as, and then go into Photoshop and make sure that it's the only stuff that is visible are the flames and everything else is transparent, and I would crop this out. Okay, that's all you got to do for that. So now that we have the fire sprite, we have the lava material, what we need to do the first is we need to create the particles for it. Okay, so this is called NS Fire. What I did was I went to FX, I right-clicked, FX, and then went down to, that's materials, FX Niagara System, a new system from a selected emitter. I chose Fountain, added that to the thing, click Finish, and this is what it looks like when it's done, but I'm going to show you how to set that up. So the first thing you want to do is you want to create the material for the fire. So just right-click the texture, just right-click it, create material, and then drag that into your material folder. So this is a pretty simple one. So we need to take the image, the texture image, which is right here. We need to drag this into the fire sheet mat and plug it in. So what I did was I put the RGB into the emissive, the alpha into the opacity, so it's translucent. I set this to translucent. It'll be opaque by default. That won't work. Okay, and then I multiplied the color of the texture by about 25 in the emissive, so that way it is brighter and looks more like fire, because fire is pretty bright. So with that said, what we need to do now is we need to set up a couple things. So we need to go to emitter state and change the loop duration to 0.5. It will probably be like 5 or 2 or something. Change the loop behavior to once, and the reason you want that is you don't want particles spawning infinitely, as that'll destroy your frame rate. We want to up the spawn rate to something like 5,000, 2,000, something like that. And then we want to turn off gravity. If we turn on gravity, this is what it looks like. We don't really want that. We want fire to go up. Okay. We need to go to Sprite Renderer and choose the Fire Sheet Mat. And now this is very important. Go down to Sub UV, Sub Image Size, and mine is a 5x5 sprite sheet. Okay. This is a 5x5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if yours is 3x3, do 3x3, this is 5x5. Okay? And then the final thing is you want to adjust the sphere location. I did 90. Normally I believe it is 8. So that's what it looks like when it's 8. I want mine to be wider, so I made it 90. And then add velocity and cone. Normally it is 800 by 1,000, I believe. So that's what that looks like. So I put the velocity down to about 100 to 200, and that's what that looks like. It's more of an ember look. And then the final thing is go to system state on the actual blue NS Fire thing, the system itself. Change this to loop behavior 0.5 and change it to once. So you can go back and watch that again if that went by too fast. But now we're going to move on to the next thing. Okay, we're gonna create the actual lava material. Now I'm just gonna use a cube. If you want it like running down a river, like running down a volcano, make sure you go in Blender or Maya and actually create a river or volcano mesh, and then apply this material to the part that you want, the material that you want on that river. Um, that's basically all it is to make flowing lava. So now what we want to do is we want to create a blueprint class, and this is how we're going to spawn the fire and interact with the player. So we're going to create an actor. We're going to call this BP lava floor. Okay. So what we're going to do, and this is very important, is create a box collider. We're going to call this collision. Okay. And you need to make it the default scene root. If you don't make this the default scene root, it will not work. Okay. So we're gonna click on this, and we're gonna go down the collision settings, and we're gonna create this to be block all. The reason we need it to be block all is we want to use hit events. This will allow us to spawn particles and sound effects at the location it hits. So if it hits right here, it'll spawn right here. If it hits up here, it'll spawn right here. If it hits here, it'll spawn there. Okay, so that's what we want. And remember, it needs to be block all, simulate hit events, and it needs to be the root. If it's not the root and you have these two, it won't work. Okay, so we're also going to add a cube. Actually, let's make it a static mesh. That way you can swap it out later. Okay, so we are going to make this a cube. We're just going to use 1M cube. It's part of the default engine stuff. And I'm going to scale this to be with the actual cube collider. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is actually, can I scale this up? Let's see. Yeah, let's just, so I can't scale it up that way. Alright, so we are going to, let's make it 32. So scale the cube up to about 500. Actually, no, we don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. My mistake. We can do that in the level editor. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to right click and type event hit. And that's what this simulate generate hit events are. So what we're going to do is we're going to spawn particle or spawn emitter at location. Okay, and we're going to hit the location into here. Location hit location. All right, and then we're going to spawn. Where is it? Fire. Why is it not? Should be NS fire. Oh, I know why. Not spawn emitter, spawn system at location. This is using, the spawn emitter is using cascade particles. We're using Niagara, which is a newer and better system. So we're going to use spawn system at location. My mistake. Okay, so NS fire. Oops. NS fire. So that's the one we created. We're going to remember tie location and hit location. And we're going to set auto destroy and auto activate to be true. So it'll activate, and then once the emitter lifetime ends, it'll destroy it so it doesn't kill too many particles. Okay, and then we're going to play a sound at location. And we're going to get the hit location. And now I don't have an actual sound file, but if you have like a sizzling sound effect, just put it in here and it'll play at the location. And then what we're going to do is on overlap, we're going to cast to character. Now the reason I'm doing character and not the player character that we created, third person example character, is I want this to also work with AI and other stuff. So cast to character, what that does is any actor that inherits from this character will be able to be damaged. If you want it to damage a very specific thing, cast to that. However, this will work for AI if you start adding that in. Okay, so now what we want to do is we need to go to the player character real quick and set up a very small health system. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so let's create health. We'll just call it health, and this will be a float, and we're going to set its value to 0.1 or 1.0. Sorry, 1.0, and that means the health is 100% by default. Okay. Alright, and then let me go ahead and take this stuff off. Okay. So all this is from past tutorials. Okay. So we have the health, and now what we want to do is we want to set health. Ooh, we can't do that. Shoot, we can't do that. We're gonna have to do the third person character because we need that specific thing. Pass to third person character. Okay. And we're gonna put that in the other actor object. And then we are going to set health. Okay. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna subtract float minus float, and we're gonna take health. Okay. And we're gonna subtract it by, let's say, 0.01. Okay. Now the lava should be working, but first we need to actually set up a way to test the health. So we're gonna print string. And you could do this with the progress bar. I'm just going to do a print string statement. So we're going to do that. And now should be, let's see. Oh, because this isn't actually the actual lava. So we're going to delete this floor. Okay, that's not the lava. And we're going to go to actors, and we're going to get the lava floor. Okay. We do need to add the material to it, which is lava that we created in the previous video. Okay, and we are going to scale this up. Okay, let's make this 50 by 50. There we go. Okay, and then let's make this slightly. There we go. That should work. Okay, so it should be spawning particles. So you can see it's spawning particles at certain spots where it hits. But it is not lowering the health. So we need to fix that. So I believe what's happening is we don't actually want to do overlap. What we want to do is we want to make sure it has overlap events. Okay, so we cannot use this one, so we need to add another collision. Another box collision. Because this one does block all, we need overlap. So overlap damage. Okay? And then we're just going to do that. We're going to make this overlap all dynamic. And this is going to scale. This is going to scale with the actor. Okay? So when we scaled it and we made it bigger in the level blueprint, that worked. Okay. So now let's test and make sure that it can. Let me go ahead and show collision. We make this bigger than, let's make this bigger than that. Okay. Alright, and then let's make this slightly bigger too, 42, 42. I believe what's happening is it is touching the cube, but nothing else. Okay, so as you can see, this for the print string is lowering. Okay. Going to 0.8, and it's doing this every event. And as you can see, it's hitting the particles where it hits. So right there, there's some. Now they're not going to be every time, and our health is still draining, but it will do it on multiple occasions. Do this. And it'll actually spawn at the particles will actually spawn at our location, which is really cool. So that is basically how you do a interactable lava in Unreal Engine. If you like this video and it helped you out, please subscribe and like the video. Thank you very much.